Hey everybody, it's BJ
And Patrick.
and we're back talking all things real estate. Thank you for joining us today. If you haven't already, please take a sec and give us a quick subscribe for the channel and a like for the video. We are putting out piles and piles of content, and you want to make sure you don't miss anything. And so subscribing will make sure that happens. So, all right,
We got a good one today.
yeah, it's headline day, right? So
Let's do this.
I'm going to read the headline here. This is from the Financial Post, and it is dated yesterday.
Okay.
So, all right. So it's almost hot off the press.
yeah.
So, okay. So the headline reads: Builder sentiment slumps as mortgage rates continue to stall new home sales. So now we are seeing mortgage rates start to come down. We just had what they're calling a supersized rate drop of 0.5 point. We're expecting another rate drop this year.
They called it a jumbo thing, and I started
Was it jumbo or supersized?
I was conflating it with
Remember that supersize me? Yeah. So, there's another one.
We can call it that all we want.
We can call it whatever we want. Sure. So we're going to call it a supersized rate cut. So the expectation is, will there be another one?
That's what they're talking about.
They're talking about it right now. So, but however, it's interesting. I'm going to read in this article. There's some specific quotes here from the Canadian Home Builders Association. So, according to the Canadian Home Builders Association, builder sentiment across Canada remains bleak, with little hope for a near-term recovery. So,
that doom and the gloom.
Right? So they go through some statistics of how, despite the interest rate drops, it hasn't affected the new home market and the developers.
This is kind of interesting, and I saw an article come up about the Toronto Real Estate Board, TREB. They're starting to see realtors get out of the business.
Yeah, I saw the same.
This is the exact same thing. Seasoned builders have been around for a long time with great reputations. They've gone through the cycle before, right?
Yeah.
Like we've gone through the real estate cycle here. We kind of know what to expect.
Yeah.
A lot of these people that jump in because they have a pickup truck and a toolbox, and all of a sudden they're builders, right? They got the tailgate warranty, and as soon as it starts going sideways, they're gone.
Yeah.
So, the guys that have been around for a long time, they'll probably pull back on building big projects.
Yeah.
And the small guys will continue to build one or two houses, and they won't make hundreds of thousands of dollars per house. They'll make less money, but they'll continue working, right?
Yeah.
As long as they don't lose their shirts, which that is a definite potential outcome. Where you could make the wrong decision 2 times in a row, and that's it. Now you're going to be owing, or you're going to be writing off a loss for years, and you're going to be in debt.
Yeah,
just to offload some of these houses.
Yeah. So
okay,
let me continue on here. So
Sorry, I got carried away.
This is a quote from the CEO of Canadian Home Builders Association. So they use an index, and it's called HMI.
Okay.
So this is the reference to that index, and the scores are low.
Sure.
Okay. So statistically, we don't need to go through all the numbers, but they went through some numbers and breaking them down and so on. So, okay. So the low scores show both low builder sentiment and an expectation of continued slower starts in the months ahead, emphasizing the need for ongoing holistic change to policy at all levels of government to address affordability and supply. So that's a quote from the CEO. Now, I want to stop here.
Yep.
When we talk about different levels of government and dealing with municipalities specifically and affordability, if we don't make it easier for builders and developers to do what they do in terms of building new homes, and we keep stretching out that process because of all sorts of, because the goalposts keep moving. It's one thing if you say these are the requirements, but if they keep changing, oh yeah, and no, we also want this. Oh, and oh yeah, we changed our minds about this. Let's do this also. Oh yeah, while you're at that, why don't you take care of this as well? Why don't you add one of these as well? And this is the track record for the local municipalities here in the Greater Victoria area.
Not all, but some are notorious of this
Yes.
reputation.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have one client who they're basically to the point of saying, look, we need to reevaluate this. It's a commercial space. We need to reevaluate this thing completely. It's because we're basically, we've spent the last however long just trying to get approvals from the municipality for us to do the work that we want to do for the use that we have planned for this building. And it was like, okay, well, so it was like, do this. So they did this. Okay, well, we also want you to do this. So then they did this. And then it's like the goalposts keep moving. Every time they go back with, here's what you've asked for, they get, oh, well, do this too while you're, oh yeah, we also decided we want this. And oh yeah, we want one of these. And oh yeah, can you do this as well? And to the point where they're just saying, look, is it even worth it for us to do anything here?
Oh, it doesn't make it easy for people to do any new project for sure.
Right.
Right. And so what BJ's talking about is the city will ask you're seeking to change the property in a certain way that you might require new zoning, or you might require a building permit or development permit, and the city will issue a statement of conditions. And they'll say, here's 10 things I want you to do on the property. And like BJ was saying, once those 10 things are done, they'll send an inspector in there, and then they'll make up some other fantasy requirement.
Right. Yeah.
And this is the continuing issue that many people have when they're dealing with municipalities.
Yeah.
Hopefully, with this BC Builds here in BC with Premier Eby, I really like the idea. I'm not a big fan of like how things are going, but I like the concept of like transparency where these things will be online.
Yeah.
And there will be like clear guidelines to achieve things.
Sure.
But
so I'm
we'll
gonna
see.
We'll see what happens. But I'm gonna, here in the Greater Victoria area, there are 2 municipalities that are notorious for trying to get these things done. I have a client that's looking at another commercial space, and we went to the district of Saanich just to ask. We haven't done anything yet, right? But just to ask about the possibility of doing some work inside the building and what that might entail. And we're just talking about taking down some walls that aren't even load bearing, right? So just to change some rooms and move some rooms around and things like that. And, we're hearing it could take up to 18 months just to get an approval to knock down some walls and put up some drywall.
Oh, I don't even want to get into it. That's like 18 months of like not doing something. You have opportunity lost on other things that you could be doing.
Yeah. No, that's the commercial side of things. I get that. But the point is, if you want to make it easier for, I'm going to interrupt myself. $1 million, 10 years, haven't broken ground at the harbor.
On Wharf Street.
Yes. Yeah. Right? That's another classic example to me. If you want to deal with affordability issues in housing, the easiest thing is to deal with the bureaucracy that's currently in place and the length of time it takes just to get approvals for builders to build.
Right, but this restricts the redevelopment of property, and I'll explain. Only the big fish, the huge companies can do this, where they can land bank.
Yeah.
They can buy like a Wharf Street and sit on it while they have a dozen other 20 other projects, one here in Vancouver, one in Whistler, one in Hawaii. They're going to have projects all over the place. 2 guys in a pickup truck and they're not going to be able to withstand the abuse over this long period of time.
Sure.
And they might just have to sell a project that they could not ever do. So they're going to be, I've always found it difficult to sell. I can sell easily, like it's a single lot, you sell it to a builder or something that's duplexable. I make that word up now. Something that's is duplex zone, and you can turn it into a duplex from a single. Or it's like 30 units, townhouse project or 30 lots or 40 lots or 50. It's easier to sell those
Yeah.
than it is something that's like, oh, we can build 6 lots, 8 lots. It's too small. 3 lots, 4 lots. It's
Yeah.
too small for
Yeah.
the big guys.
Yeah.
And it's too big for the 2 guys in a pickup
Right.
truck.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Let's just move
let's
on. Otherwise,
just
if I stay there, we're gonna.
let's just calm down
Yeah.
for a minute here.
So, okay. While Canada's resale market is starting to show signs of life, which we are seeing that. However, regional data shows home builder sentiment is especially low in British Columbia and Ontario, with effectively no builders experiencing good selling conditions, according to the Canadian Home Builders Association.
And we're talking
in those
about,
markets.
We're talking about spec houses, builders speculating, evil megalomania,
Yeah.
Machiavellian. No,
Right.
that's politics. Sorry, that's not the right word for it. But I just like starts throwing out words, right? So, right. But custom houses seem to be still doing well. That's a whole different ball game. But for spec houses, yeah. You know why? Because we just had a huge number of sales during COVID, and then interest rates went up, and people weren't jumping on like building. The builders have to finance these homes.
Yeah.
You know,
And
we're in a
that's-
different environment for like positive for people willing to do investment.
Yeah, and the CHBA stuff here is
There we go.
they're saying it relates only to new construction for ownership.
Okay.
So it's not,
Because if we still have like in Victoria, I'm not talking about all of Canada, if we still have like an 18 to 20% absorption rate, we're doing quite well. We're in a very balanced market, you know, with the occasional, yeah, I had a cash offer, no conditions, huge deposit, was awesome, you know, but we're not, and we are occasionally seeing multiple offers, but on the whole, it's taking longer to sell homes. It's back to normal, and it's not dead like it was
Yeah.
in 2009.
Yeah. So it continues on to say this: while lower interest rates and other policy measures being implemented should eventually help increase resale activity, still more will be needed, including at the provincial and municipal level, to turn the market around and get on track to significantly increase housing starts and supply in the future. So the 30-year amortization is coming up, which is going to help a little bit for buyers.
Yeah, I can see that.
And so that will certainly make a difference. They're calling that, the Canadian Home Builders Association is saying that may offer some modest relief. Those are their words. But I think
a slight improvement. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
but I think, I think a big part of the affordability challenge is, I'm going to go back to it again and again and again, is, well, hopefully they change it and I won't have to go back to it again, but is you need to streamline the process for the approvals on the builders and developers. And that's a municipal issue.
Maybe we'll be able to borrow Elon Musk, and he'll do what to every municipality he did to Twitter.
Yeah, we're going to cut 30,000 jobs. Is that what it was, or something like
And
that?
I cut like 80% of
Whatever
Twitter,
it was?
Whatever. Anyways, moving on. I don't want to go down that road because I'm just having fun with that comment.
Yeah. So anyway, this is what the Financial Post report reads and is saying. And I'm going to come back to the biggest issue with construction. I'm going to talk about our market. Obviously, it's different in different markets. But one of the biggest issues with construction here is getting approvals and getting through the approval process with the municipality.
Oh, that's the first half of the battle. Yes.
Yes, right. And the time and investment that takes to get through that is going to get recouped somewhere.
Yeah, and supply chain isn't as big as an issue as it was during COVID.
Well, and you also had in amongst COVID, people seem to have forgotten this, is the shutdown of the Panama Canal.
Oh yeah. So
That was a huge contributor to the lack of supply.
yeah, so we had some supply chain issues, and I think those are all sorted out by now.
Yeah.
But for living here for a little bit over 20 years, labor. Good luck trying to get a contractor, let alone a good one.
Yeah.
Right? It takes time. Mm-hmm. You know, if not, and maybe I'll put it out there. They might be a little bit spoiled because it's easier to work on new construction and not doing renovations and that, right? But then there's guys that can do both.
Yeah.
So it's like, you get to sort of pick and choose what jobs you want because there's such a high demand. What do you think happens to labor costs?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
once those sales come down,
Yeah.
it's going to be cheaper, and the supply stock has also come down. Plywood costs were like crazy during
Yeah.
COVID. They're actually lower prices now for wood than they were prior to COVID.
Yeah.
So we're gonna slowly see a steady ramp up.
Yeah.
But obviously, you have to have the stomach and backing for it to
Yep.
try that out.
Yeah. 100%.
Because we still don't know, like we can't see in the future.
No.
But there we
Yeah.
are.
So there we are. Thank you for joining us today. If you haven't, please give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.